Hey, what's up, Jets Nation? This is Jay Gangsta Hippie hitting you right up with another installment of going position by position. Which New York Jets do I think will make a big impact? And right now we're going to be focusing on the fullback and running back position. As you can see, I'm wearing my Curtis Martin jersey. I think it's the 01 C Martin. And wearing this, recent retirement of LaDainian Tomlinson, another first ballot Hall of Famer. We're going to look at the position of need. The Jets don't really have that much running. Didn't have that much of a running game last year. We played behind a bad O-line. Nick Mangold was hurt for most of the season, and Wayne Hunter. Yeah. We didn't upgrade the O-line during the draft, which I was a little bit disappointed in, but that's for another video. And but I still firmly believe the Jets' running game will improve. We don't really have any old veteran guys on our running back list on the depth chart, but I do think the young guys who were probably hurt last year at the training camp lockout will improve. You've had Sean Green, who still managed to run for a 1,000-yard season, even though he was banged up, bruised, and as I said before, ran behind a bad O-line. And personally, just from the eye test, his running game really improved when the Jets lined up in a two-back set, him and Terminator John Connor. Joe McKnight showed some flashes of brilliance along with some boneheadedness with his inability or sometimes ability to field punts and also fumble punts. But he definitely looks like a playmaker in the future. Kind of reminds me of Liam Washington. Probably can play that scat back role and probably do a better job than LaDainian Tomlinson did this year. LaDainian Tomlinson was on his last leg. I'm forever thankful he did, not last season, but the season before that. But it's time to move on. Also picked up a few new running backs, one in the draft and one as a free agent. One guy who I'm really looking forward to see is John Griffin. Not a rookie, but this would be his second year in the league. Last year was his rookie season. Was released by the Cincinnati Bengals before start of the season. And he's a UMass product, so D2 school. Soon to be D1, by the way. UMass product. I watched some of his highlights, and I wouldn't say I was blown away, but I really admired his readability. He's not going to light the world on fire with his speed. 4.5 speed, not that bad. Joe McKnight, 4.4. And even Bilal Powell runs 4.5. But based on the videos I've seen of both Griffin and Bilal Powell, I'm more impressed by John Griffin. John Griffin finally has a chance to shine against good opponents. Playing at a school like UMass, you don't necessarily play the best college teams. But I think Bilal Powell will be able to make the roster as a third or fourth running back. And did I say Bilal Powell? I mean John Griffin, I think, will make the roster as a third or fourth running back. Bilal Powell, I think, is either going to be released or banished to practice squad. Terrence Gannaway, who we drafted, I think he'll make the team because he seems to be almost a little better, better pass-catching version of Sean Green or John Connor. And can catch ball at the backfield. Obviously, he's not as big of a threat as Joe McKnight in the backfield. But I think he can, play really good as the backup, running back in case Sean Green gets hurt, and as a backup fullback. And last year, the Jets did use two fullbacks. They used Josh Baker as an H-back a lot of times, and going back into the fullback position early in the off season, Tony Soprano kind of made it sound that the Terminator, John Connor's job was in jeopardy. He signed some scrub off of free agency, think he's a BYU product. I think we signed him from Chicago. But I don't think I can see Josh Baker as a fullback on our current roster. He's not a bad player. We just have plenty of pass-catching tight ends, which we'll get in later. But, yeah, with this ground and pound and go over deep type of offense that Tony Sparano is going to try to institute, I really don't see how we can afford to put a tight end at the fullback position. I know it'll create great mismatches, but honestly, I think Connor was, critiqued way too hard last year. I think a lot of times you're being unfair, trying to live up to the expectations of Hard Knocks. Rex loves this guy. But, yeah, I really want to see what John Griffin, Bilal Powell, John Connor, and Josh Baker do in camp. I think Josh Baker will make the roster, but not as a H-back. Well, he'll make it as an H-back, but not as a fullback. He'll be a good weapon, and it depends on how healthy the other tight ends are. That about wraps it up. So, stay focused on my guys, Griffin and Powell, and peace out, Jet Nation.